with Dad on chemo, I'm just taking the initiative to just do things for him instead of asking, because he thinks he's Superman. So I'm dropping this salt off down at his basement door, and then I'm gonna have to go in. He's at work right now, so he's gonna be surprised. I got Roundup, or what, not Roundup, but it's like weed and grass killer, because he has a lot of gravel, and as you can see, it's been needing sprayed for like a really long time. And then he has a fire pit down there that needs it really bad. See, and like down here, it's not too bad, and then you just have areas where it's like really overgrown and bad, and it's just starting to get bad, I guess. God, it's so beautiful out here. I just love being out here in the nature. It's all overgrown. You can just barely see some rock, and then the pathway to the outhouse is completely covered. Like you can't even like see the stone. And it's like really overgrown badly. Yeah, this is pretty bad back here. You can barely even see the trail to the outhouse. And there are actual like weeds blocking your way. And you can't even get back there. That is a gun range, so we're gonna leave that mound there. But we're just gonna spray this trail, I think, for now. So just an update, the nail did come off completely. It was literally barely hanging on, and I had to rip it off. I had no choice. I did do some research online, and I kept finding conflicting reports. Some articles said that your toe grows back. Some said they don't. The toenail doesn't ever grow back. And the most reliable source I found was from a doctor who said there's like a white part above your nail, kind of like underneath your cuticle. And if that gets pulled out or extracted or removed or whatever, then you only have like a 5% chance of it growing back. So medically, when they remove a toenail for somebody, whether it's like elderly and it's just too much maintenance or it's infected, they would make sure to remove that top part, because then the chances of it growing back are really low. And I'm pretty sure that's the part that came out. It's hard to tell. Like I had to take the nail out because it was gonna snag on something and get caught or get injured worse or get infected. So I didn't even pull that hard, and the whole thing just slid right out. So I don't know. If it doesn't grow back, then I need to make, I saved the toenail. So I need to make like a necklace or something and be like, well, that way it's always with me. Yeah, that's a little creepy, but yeah, if you guys know anyone who had their toenail removed or ripped off, can you let me know? Did it grow back? I'm just curious. Not like ripped off, like half the nail ripped off, like the whole thing came off, like underneath my cuticle and everything. So I told DC, I said, worst comes to shove and it doesn't grow back, I will just get a tattoo of a black nail on there, and then I'll just paint all my toes black for the rest of my life. And it'll match my aesthetic. I won't be able to paint him anything else, but I don't know what else to do, so. Well, we're power washing. DC's up now. You can see behind him where it's like dirty versus where he's already done it. I did the cement over there, and then I started on these concrete blocks, but like way down there, you can't see them. And I am covered. I am covered in dirt. Holy smokes, you guys. Look at this. How good these are turning out compared to before. They're like literally double in size. We are painting today. I have, oh man, that's really bruised up. And so is my leg. I have like a massive bruise here and there, and then I also have one here. Basically, we split wood, and I am utterly physically past my limits. I was helping my dad split wood for like 3 weekends in a row. That's why my arms and my legs are all bruised up, because when you split wood, sometimes wood just explodes and it shoots out and it just hits you. It just happens. So I need to mow, but I can't mow because I have a bad leg and it is really, really like giving me problems. So we're still going to be productive. We're going to be sitting on a stool and we're going to paint. We have the wishing well needs painted. I was down there last night picking up sticks, getting ready to mow, like preparing for mowing, like picking up dog poop and picking up sticks. And I was like, I was shocked. I was realized when I walked behind the wishing well, which I don't do very often, the whole backside that bakes in the sun really needs painted. And the barn doors were replaced last year, and it's been a whole year, which means we can finally paint the wood. This is the stuff that I like to use. I actually use this on my swing that you guys probably have seen me sit in a million times. It is semi-gloss, so it's not gonna be like super plastic looking, but glossy, and it is for indoors and outdoors. And I really like this brand. That swing, granted, it has cushions, and so water and moisture does get underneath. I paint I paint every year, but you could probably go every other year. That stuff lasts really good. Here's the wishing well, and my dad actually hand built this thing. Isn't that crazy? But as you can see, this side is still good. And then you come over here and you go from that to this. Just, it's crazy. It's like literally a line right there. Hi, baby. So this whole side needs it really bad. I think this year I'm gonna do white around the whole bottom to make it even, and then maybe touch up some of these areas. And then next year I'll aim to paint the yellow again. And these things all move. This was my grandma's idea, and they're just nails in here so that it won't fall off and cats or squirrels can't knock it off. These are the barn doors that needed painted. We had to replace some rotted areas last year. This side was good, but I am gonna go ahead and touch it up. And then over here we have another shed that needs touched up. Hey guys, I wanted to end off this vlog just updating you guys on my dad and the situation. I had a couple people reach out asking how he was, and I appreciate all the positive vibes and support. I really do. It's been a tough time right now. He just got a scan done, like a CT or CAT scan. And it's not good news, but it's not bad news, but it's bad news, but not good news, if that makes sense. So when they cross-measured it with his scans before he started treatment, it is not getting any smaller. So it's not responding to the cancer, but they don't think it's growing. So that would be not the best news he wanted to hear. It's kind of bad news that it's not responding and this treatment's not doing what we had hoped. So I don't know what the next steps are, because just because of their personal issues, surgery is not really an option. So, and I understand that they don't want to discourage cancer patients, but when I'm asking the doctor, what are the next steps? What are, some things we can expect on the road? She won't give me anything. She just says, well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And I'm like, okay, so like 6 months from now, if it's not responding, then what are we looking at? Wouldn't give any answers. And I get it, but like, I'm someone, like, I'm at that bridge now. I want to prepare. I want to know, are we going to do radical treatment? Are we doing radiation? Like, what are we, you know what I mean? What's next? So, the good news is that they did go ahead and scan, like, his lungs, your liver, and there's something else that chemo is really hard on. And I think it's your heart and something else. There might have been 3 or 4 things that chemo can be really detrimental to. And something a lot of people don't know is people will be on chemo and it be working and have to get off of it because their heart is failing or their liver starting to fail because of the chemo. And all of his numbers came back good. So that is good. That is the good news. But it just kind of stinks that, like, it hasn't gotten any smaller or anything. And so it's very discouraging that, like, all this was for nothing, you know, like, all, like, from his point of view, all that money, all that time, all this pain, like, was for nothing. That kind of sucks. It sucks for him. And I deeply, like, my heart hurts for him that he's having to go through that. So they basically ordered 4 more chemo treatments through his port, and then he still has a chemo pump, which is after chemo treatment, after sitting in the hospital for like 8 hours getting chemo, he wears this contraption. It's kind of like a fanny pack, and it has a little machine in it, and he's got tubes running up to his port, and it's like taped to his chest and stuff, and he wears that for like 3 days. But I do have to lighten the mood a little bit. Last week he did have a really bad chemo treatment. He said he could feel it, like, right where the cancer was, just cramping. He didn't know if it was, like, a good thing or bad thing. But he had his chemo pump on, and I took him to go take it off, to get it off. So I drove him up there to the center, the cancer center, and he got it taken off and come back. And he's like, hey, I got a tree that fell down on his outhouse. Can you help me with it? So I'm helping him get this tree down, and I'm like, seeing a couple wasps, and I'm like, that's a lot. There's got to be a nest. Sure enough, there was 3 nests inside that outhouse. And so we pissed with that for like an hour, and then finally my dad was like, I'm done. I'm too tired. And just bomb the whole outhouse. So we leave the outhouse, and I go back up to the house, and he's resting, and he had to go to the bathroom. And I don't know, it's just one of those things with older people, like, they go to the bathroom and, like, leave the door open, you know what I'm saying? So he's, like, hauling ass in there, barely makes it, and I can hear him, like, oh, god damn it, like wrestling and tuffling, you know, and then I hear him, I'm gonna kill you, like, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like, is that a rough turd or what? And he comes out of the bathroom laughing his ass off, and he's like, you would not believe what happened. The tape from his port, he thought it was a wasp because it had, like, fallen off, and it was in his underwear, and he thought it was a wasp.